magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
It is Saturday here on the Transformers Slag Podcast. How y'all doing? My name's Protoman. This is the face that runs this place. This is the voice you hear Monday to Friday. It is Saturday. My hair's a mess. Just got back. Had to work some stuff on the weekend. The weekend is not over yet. Still got a lot to do. But how we all doing this Saturday night? We're going to be talking Transformers. We're going to be updating the news. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of cool things going on in the robot world. We had that T-Spark Takara event that revealed a lot of good stuff. So I'm excited about it. Got 2 bottles of water here. A lot to talk about. And who do we got in the chat today? We got Rudy Mack. We got Patrick Brown. We got Joseph. What's up? We got Mikey and Louie. We got Mayoral Fabrication, one of our patrons. Roman Schillen, one of my patrons. T-Formers 2002, patron and YouTube member. Will Murphy. Who else is here? El Kevo, who's one of my former patrons. We got a lot of patrons because a lot of them joined last week. Who else do we got? I think I saw Clyde was here too. Clyde is here. James is here. Will Murphy's here. Rudy Mack, what's up? We got Clark Clint Gaming, Bigums, Patrick Brown. People rolling in now. Lizard Sphere X. How we all doing? So, we're going to be talking Transformers like we always do tonight. Got a lot to cover. And then we'll take some super chats from the fans. Got some cool stuff that we got in the mail. Video game I've been playing recently, if you've been following the socials. And then some. So let's get into it. Yeah, where's Mr. Tankies? Geez, he really, Mick Tankies, he really came in the clutch. But let's get into it. So first up, a little bit of an update to what we talked about early this week. We have a whole bunch of Convoy no Nazo, Mystery of Convoy, the Famicom game merchandise celebrating its soon-to-be 40th anniversary of the hardest Nintendo game ever made. Well, definitely one of them. It's definitely up there. I personally think Ninja Gaiden is more harder than this one. But yeah, so t-shirts, pins, acrylic figurines, all kinds of stuff. We finally get our first look of the pin that is going to be available at their on-site store. That's the Ultra Magnus pin on the bottom middle there. So now we know what that's going to look like. All of these are going to go on sale on an early pre-sale. Everything in the red, pretty much in that red section, is going to go on an early pre-sale at the Tokyo Game Show this weekend. Actually, as we speak right now, the Tokyo Game Show will be opening its doors soon. So these items will be up for sale. I know a certain someone, aka me, is going to be looking for that Hot Rod acrylic figure somehow in the secondary market. And then after the show is over, next month, all of these items in the red and everything in the white, and then some, the pins, the hats, are all going to be available at their flagship store of Game Glorious, and a lot of cool stuff going on there. So if you're a fan of one of the hardest video games ever made on the Famicom Nintendo, go check that out, yo. Go check it out. But yeah, very awesome stuff. If you look carefully somewhere on YouTube, you could find me and Jaws D playing this game and beating it. Was not easy, but it's possible. It's just not easy. It's a very tough game. Next up, we got an update when it comes to the future of our live-action movies. We had some word from Michael Bay on his Twitter account saying that he wants to do more, kind of snidely teasing at it when Hasbro was showing off some footage of his, I believe it was the 2007 movie they were showing, or Dark of the Moon. And then we had Tyrese talking about how he got off the phone with Michael Bay, and they're in talks about something. And then we have even Josh Duhamel, aka Captain Lennox, from the movie, talking about how there's a strong possibility of him coming back too. So it looks like, considering that if they start filming early 2026, because I saw firsthand when Rise of the Beast was being filmed in Montreal, they pretty much got everything done and wrapped within a year and 2 months. Like, they did it pretty quickly. So I imagine if they start recording, let's just say hypothetically they start recording in like January of 2026, they could probably get the whole movie done, ready for trailers and everything for 2027, celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Michael Bay movies. I mean, that's pretty wild when you think about it right there. It's been 20 years since the first movie is going to be coming up, but I imagine this is probably what's happening. It's probably going to be some anniversary reunion, 20th anniversary, bring back the whole guy. I don't know about Shia. Shia's probably the hardest one to get back. He's been kind of on a different journey in his life, but you never know. You never know. Money talks. So maybe they feel that it might be worth it, but very interesting to see where this all goes. But we will talk more about it in the future when we get more information. Right now, it's really just all the individual actors on social media, or directors in this case too, just kind of going, "Hey, maybe something's coming. Maybe an anniversary is coming. Stay tuned." So we'll see. We'll keep you guys posted on that one when we learn more. Then, of course, some important dates that are also coming up very soon. Next week will be the Walmart Collector Con, where a whole bunch of Walmart exclusives will be revealed for the first time and go up for pre-order. That'll be October 9th, the Friday of 2025. And then also October 9th to the 11th will be the New York Comic Con, which I'm pretty certain is going to be a little bit of synergy there, where whatever's going to be revealed on the 9th on Walmart Collector Con will be in the glass displays and showed off at the Hasbro booth that same weekend at New York Comic Con. They will also have a panel, they being Hasbro, Friday, October 10th at 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock during lunchtime. It'll be their action brands of Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, and of course, Transformers. So there'll probably be some big reveals there too and stuff. So stay tuned for that. Of course, we'll keep you posted. It'll probably all drop on, the lunchtime on Friday. We'll have the segment ready for you guys on Friday, and then we'll talk about it in depth like we are right now on the Saturday night live stream. You guys can give your opinions too also. Then, of course, we had the T-Spark event. A whole bunch of stuff was revealed from the Takara side of things. We had MC Masa-san was showing off a whole bunch of new stuff. Also, Yuki-san was there from the Takara design team, showing some brand new Transformer product. And of course, they had Moe, Moe-kun was also there just to kind of be the audience surrogate to marvel at all the cool stuff. And what we got here, well, it looks like a reissue and redeco of the original MP Soundwave, now being reissued as an MPG, in this case, MPG 19 Soundwave with Condor, aka Laserbeak. So if you did not get this guy, I heavily suggest you do. I own both the original release from Japan. I own the American release, which was the toy accurate colors with the extra cassettes. Fantastic mold. Absolutely fantastic mold. Probably when I look at my masterpiece collection, as high end as those figures are, only some of them would I literally rank like they're 10 out of 10 perfect Transformer products. And that Soundwave is on there. That Soundwave is on there. I think the only flaw some people might say is his size. He's a little big, but he also was an earlier masterpiece. Probably, I believe he was MP13, if I remember correctly. So he was in the earlier days of Masterpiece, but he's still absolutely fantastic. My only concern is what are they going to ask for him now, all these years later? Because it's been so long since that first release. So very curious, but we will see. We will see. Maybe we'll get the cassettes individually. Maybe we might get a Sound Blaster reissue also. That one too. Only got the one release. Maybe it'll get a different color scheme. We will see what happens with that one. And of course, they also gave the teaser of potentially a MPG Brodocasto, aka Blaster. And Blaster is going to supposedly come with Eject and Ramhorn. And then that then goes, well, if Blaster is going to come with Eject and Ramhorn, then if they're going to do the repaint, which they also teased at, hey, we'll also do the twin cast repaint here. If they do the twin cast repaint, then maybe it's going to come with, Steel Jaw and Rewind. So we'll have the full set among the two there, and it'll give people an excuse to get the blue repaint also. So we will see. We will see. Mel Brooks, not Mel Gibson. T-Formers. Two very different people. Two very different people. There's a deeper joke in that, but I'm not going to go there because YouTube's going to demonetize me. Oh man. Anyways, but yeah, love Mel Brooks. He does some good stuff. I think Mel Brooks' best movie, honestly, real talk, is Men in Tights. Robin Hood Men in Tights. I love that one. That was one of Dave Chappelle's first acting gigs. Great movie. Great movie. Then we got this one here. This one's a bit of a mystery. So this is a new Transformers high-end subline. Uh, Transformers Overgear. Now, I don't know. You tell me, guys, what am I looking at here? Because when I first looked at it, I was like, oh man, like it's a helicopter. It looks like Live Convoy, aka, Transformers Cybertron evac. And then we got something that looks like a, I don't know, pickup truck, maybe, very large shoulders, and you could clearly see those bits on the side or the side mirrors of the vehicle. I remember some people were looking at it going, it's clearly Grimlock, and that's his dino arms. I don't really see that, but I mean, we don't know what this is, but they said that it's something, according to the translation, it's a new Transformer line that aims for a very realistic look of the super fighting robots. So it could be potentially going along the lines of what alternators did in the past, where taking hyper realistic takes of real life vehicles and stuff like that, and then applying Transformer characters to that. That's a possibility. I mean, we kind of got that a little bit in this and that when it came to, like, we got that lunar convoy. Remember that one where it was based off of a real lunar module? So maybe we're getting something that's in that vibe where we're going to get more real life, real existing vehicles, but tacking on iconic characters. Who knows? Who knows? But we will see. This is something that potentially will be revealed in the near future. Next month is going to be the 63rd annual model and toy show in Japan. So maybe those items will be revealed then. So we will see next month. We'll keep you posted when we learn more, but it is quite interesting. Mikey and Louie says it's Silverbolt. It's always Silverbolt. Really? I don't know. Doesn't look like Silverbolt. Doesn't look like him. But then again, who knows? You might be right. See, James says here, looks like Ironhide and Blackout. Yeah, well, that's just it. It's interesting because, like, would they do, like more hyper movie stuff again when this could be something? I don't know. You might be right. It's hard to say. It's very hard to say this one. It's very bizarre to say the least. But new high-end subline, so stay tuned for that. Then we got more movie masterpieces. I just ate before I did the live stream, so I'm all filled up with salt. Mm. Damn Asian food. Anyways, we got the movie masterpiece line, but this time it's new segmentation, movie masterpiece series, but next. So it's going to be labeled MPMN-01, and the teaser is going to be Sideswipe from Revenge of the Fallen. We've already completed our movie Autobots for the 2007 movie, if you don't count, like, I guess, the protoform. That's probably the only design from that movie that's absent in masterpiece form. So now we're going to Revenge of the Fallen, and it looks like Sideswipe is going to be the first of those. Proto Man is being salty. I'm never salty. I do like salt, though. It's good. But so check that out. We're going to probably have more reveals of that, definitely also at the 63rd annual model and toy show next month in Japan. And then Yuki-san gave us a hands-on look at the prototype of the Evangelion Unit 1 X Convoy crossover, Transformers crossover with Evangelion, 30th anniversary celebrated this year in 2024 for Eva, that debuted in 1994, both as a manga and anime series. And we have here a very Age of Extinction looking Optimus Prime, brand new tooling from the ground up, but a very Age of Extinction looking Optimus Prime with a spin of Eva Unit 1 and, flippable head, a fusion of all kinds of different weapons from both Eva and iconic Optimus Prime designs. A lot of really cool stuff going on there. I love the opening mouth for the Berserk Eva Unit 1 mode. Very, very cool. Looking forward to this one. This one definitely is something that I'm probably going to look into purchasing, not even so much for me, but the little lady that lives here absolutely loves the designs of Evangelion. Not so much the show, but she loves the designs. So this is something that kind of fuses our two worlds. and she's even interested. So definitely going to look into that one. Just hope it's not too crazy. And I can imagine that if they want to afterwards, they could repaint it into Unit 2, Unit 3, maybe even do some other fun stuff with that. Maybe even finally do that Angel Starscream that they teased us more than a decade ago in the masterpiece fiction of Evangelion. So we will see. We will see. Very, very cool, that one. Very cool. Evangelion as a series, I have my mixed feelings of. Great designs, great concept, kind of a weird execution, but you can't deny how cool the robot designs are, and they're very unique. And speaking of unique robot designs, maybe not so much unique robot designs, but let's talk about Mutu. Let's talk about Masters of the Universe, the He-Man Transformers crossover designed by Mattel. Again, we knew this one was coming. What's up, Larry? We knew this one was coming. This was something that when San Diego revealed the first wave, the comic was on site and people were taking pictures of the interior of the comic book that came with the Bumblebee slash Optimus, Bumblebee slash Megatron Wave One stuff, the Skeletor and the Man at Arms. And we saw that, Optimus Prime and Starscream are going to be in this one. And according to the data, I didn't talk about this in the individual segment, but it seems that the comic book that's going to come with this one is going to reveal the next two for the next wave. So there's apparently two more coming after this. So we'll have to stay tuned for that. I don't know who that's going to be. I mean, you could take any guess. I mean, I think they need to do something with Roboto. I mean, that would be a super missed opportunity. They're one, major robot character, like how, and maybe Stratos, I guess, but Roboto should be a given. So I mean, they got to do something with Roboto. They got to do something with Stratos. But we'll see. We'll see. Or maybe like they'll put Manny Faces. They'll do something with him. They'll do animated Blitzwing Manny Faces. They probably won't. That's too deep thinking for Mattel, but it is what it is. I think they're cool. I don't know if they're super cool in order to want to purchase them. Personally, I think I just want the Optimus one. The other three I could kind of, if I never get them, I'll live somehow. But the Optimus one looks really cool, so I'm gonna probably get that one. These are gonna be $29.99, and we'll be shipping out next year, January. You could pre-order them right now on Target or at Mattel Creations' website. It's kind of like their version of Hasbro Pulse. So very, very cool, all of these. But the Optimus wins out in my heart, definitely. Decepticon for Life says he wants the Scare Glow. Grimlock is Battle Cat for Mikey and Louie. Well, I mean, again, Battle Cat. I mean, there's so many Transformers that would fit so much better into that, specifically a certain Pretender shell. But at the same time, it's like, they're going to go with Legendary 7. They're going to play it safe. So if I had to take a guess, probably like a Soundwave and Grimlock is going to be next. Whoever it'll be, we'll see. But whoever's going to be with Soundwave and whoever's going to be with Grimlock, I guess, I don't know. What's his name? Trapjaw? Or is going to be like Soundwave, and then I don't know, or maybe Faker will be Soundwave. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Faker's got to be like Nemesis Prime, no? I don't know. Very, very weird choices of cohesion, for lack of better words. So we shall see. We shall see. Then we got this little lady has started shipping out everywhere in Japan, and some photos have already been coming out. Apparently, she's extremely posable, so we've already been getting some sexy pose photos from people all over Twitter in Japan. But Missing Link CO7RC is out there, and there's her beautiful box. So if you have pre-ordered her, she will be arriving very soon in your local mailbox. But yeah, looking great. I'm super excited about this one just because this is probably the only Missing Link item that, dare I say, I'm going to put it in my G1 display because she belongs there. I literally spaced out the space in my 1986 section over there, right over there, to put her, in. And then the regular colored animation accurate one will go back into the Missing Link display section. But very, very cool. Very excited about this one. What I feel Missing Link should exist for more than anything is almost ideas that never happened. Like now I'm just waiting for Missing Link Unicron. Give me Missing Link Unicron. That's what I need more than anything else. Got to make that happen for sure. Then we got the voting. This is going on too. So the Transformers Hall of Fame voting is going down right now as we speak. The voting will close October 6th, so don't waste your time. Go do your voting right now. It is a little perplexing. A lot of these toys on the voting either are not out yet, or this is just way too early, and there's some items that still have another 3 months to come out. So I don't know. I personally like to do the Transformers Slag podcast voting like at the end of the year. I get it. They want to kind of just wrap it up and have it in time ready for a convention, or to have it wrapped it up and ready in time for a lot of other things. Again, if it finishes on October 6th, then they could announce the winner at New York Comic Con, and then they could, do a live stream and celebrate it at the convention. I get it. There's a timing and a cohesion and a synergy that goes on with all of this. But, it's still a little early in my opinion, even though it can't be helped. What's up, Young? So we will see. We will see. But I did my voting. I'm not going to say who I voted for. I don't want to influence things, but I did my voting on certain items and stuff. Like I said before, conspicuously absent from all of this is the fourth category. We've always had an extra category on top of whatever is mainline generations at the time, be it Earthrise, Siege, Kingdom, Legacy. Now it's our Age of the Primes. We always get some kind of studio series, and we always get some kind of like all the exclusives and the oddball stuff. And we always had a fourth category that was always different from the toys, separate from the toys. Hey, what's your favorite Beast Wars season 1? What's your favorite animated character? What's your favorite this? So that's absent this time, which is a shame. I mean, they could have done something just for fun, if anything, just to kind of use it as, the way I look at it is, what does it hurt to kind of just, get a feeling of the pulse of what the fans want? No pun intended, Hasbro pulse, but get a feeling of the pulse of what fans want for a certain category of something. You could have literally said like, hey, what's your favorite Beast Machines character? Just to get an idea, if you did do Beast Machines, who would people want? Like, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, but I guess maybe, I don't know, the transition to Boston right now is probably like tripping things up and everything, but we'll see what goes down. It is what it is. Hey, if you need help, Hasbro, you know who to call. And trust me, I won't use AI or take a picture of a YouTube video to do box art. Wink, wink. Not box art, actually. Back of the box stuff. Yeah. And last but not least, want to do a little bit of a celebration of the life of Ron Friedman. We lost Ron just this past September 15th. Ron was battling cancer for quite a few years, was going through chemo, but unfortunately succumbed to something that I probably can't pronounce. It has to do with cardio, so that would have to be the heart. It was cardiolipryca, because I'm not going to even try. I asked my wife because she's the medical expert, and it had something to do with his heart stopping and everything. So he passed away at 93 years old. Ron had a amazing career. He was primarily a comedy writer, going all the way back to the days of Gilligan's Island, and that's how far back he goes. And what was interesting with his story, and I read it in his book, I Killed Optimus Prime, which, if you could get your hands on a copy, a very thick but very good read by Ron Friedman. And what was interesting is, during his time, he was always writing comedy and television shows. And then in 1978, he met who would be his best friend for the rest of his life, Mr. Stanley Lieber, aka Stan Lee. And he met him in 1979 in LA. And Stan Lee at the time had just kind of unofficially retired from writing comic books, moved from New York to LA, and that's where he met Ron. And Stan was now working on the media side of Marvel at Sunbow. And Stan was like, hey, why don't you come in? Like, we're going to work on Marvel stuff. We're working on this new show called G.I. Joe, and so Ron worked with that stuff, and then he worked on Transformers and then the Marvel Action Hour. So Stan brought him in, and then next thing you know, Ron is doing all of this, Transformer stuff. And then the big thing was that Ron really contributed was the creation of a consistent long-term female character in Transformers, in that of RC, because, and this is a tribute that was done by a fan on Twitter, where Ron's daughter, who loved watching Transformers, asked him why there was no female Transformer. So Ron asked the writers, and he also helped contribute with it because he was one of the head writers on a more editorial level at that point. But he did write the very first script of the '86 movie, to put in a female character, which would be the creation of RC. So he was a big proponent of that. And you could also thank his daughter for recommending that. And that was the birth of RC. So he was a big part of that too. Again, he also was, it's debated if him or Flair O'Deary were the ones who really came up with Unicron. That's been kind of flip flop, that one, on who really was the first person to really conceive that. But at the end of the day, it's all just really celebrating, like, Jack Kirby's Galactus at the end of the day. And if Ron was around all that Marvel stuff with Stan Lee, I mean, Galactus is going to inadvertently be infused in your body. Not to mention, around the time that he met Stan Lee, you can't argue the Star Wars influence that was still fresh in people's head. I mean, Star Wars had just finished Revenge of the Jedi. That was the original name. Return of the Jedi in '83. So, like, when they were working on the movie in '84, it was still a hot property that had just, like, concluded. So there's a lot of things going on there that we'll never get, the final answers. I've asked Flint Dille in the past the influence, and he had his own stories with NFL coaches and players and stuff. But Ron was a cool dude. I have my own stories with him because I'll just make it brief because I don't want to bore you guys with it. But when the 2007 movie came out and it started blowing up, Ron needed to talk to people who were big names in the fandom, because he had a whole bunch of stuff in his garage and he didn't need it anymore. He's like, oh, people care about Transformers now because of that Michael Bay movie. So he busted out a whole bunch of animation cells, and I gave Ron a huge chunk of money for 4 animation cells of Hot Rod and Old Hot Rod, which was later the prototype for Rodimus Prime. Some of those other animation cells were spread to other big people within TFW 2005 at the time. And me and Ron kind of had this, like, back and forth of sending letters to each other and emails. And I remember the coolest thing he ever did was, I remember, like, just 3 months after he sent me the cells, I got another letter in the mail unexpectedly. And it was just a little letter from Ron. And it was just like, hey, I remember that you mentioned in your email that you really liked the Iron Man Toy Biz toy line and the armor gimmick and the cartoon and the intro and everything from season 2. Here's a photo, and it was an actual, like, photo, not like a printout, it was an actual photo from his own personal photography of him with Stan and the voice actors of Hawkeye and Iron Man from the Iron Man cartoon. It was a little photo. He's like, here, you can take this from my personal, when photos were, special. When you took a photo, it was like, it was almost like one of two, unless you had the original film and stuff. So that was really cool of him. So that was really nice of him. And then years later, finally getting to meet him in person, he came to TFCon LA. So I finally got to meet him. I bought his book. I got him to sign it. I talked with him about, I hope you did something good with that money I gave him, And he was a super, like, it was very clear, especially when you read his book, you see the way that he writes and stuff. It's very clear that he's always telling jokes. He's a comedy guy. And, it was funny because his whole career was always comedy shows and like variety shows and stuff like that. And then he fell into, like, the Action Boy brand by accident, just because he met some old, comic book designer, from New York, in the case of Stan Lee. And those two just became, like, the two best of friends afterwards. But, just absolutely fascinating human being. And it's a shame that didn't get to know him more because he seems like the kind of person that would have been a riot to hang around because he always seemed so upbeat and always making jokes. But I guess that's just kind of that writer's mind. Everything is inspiration and everything is a moment. So very cool dude. And again, passed away at 93 after a long bout with cancer and stuff. There is a project that he was working on that's still going on. Uh, I believe it's called the Orson Unicron. I apologize, Jared, who worked on it. I don't remember the full name of it. I'll post it in the pinned comment of the replay of this episode. I'll post a link to it. They're working on a kind of an autobiography of uh, of Orson Welles and the origin of the Unicron stuff with the '86 movie. A lot of very cool stuff going on. Mikey and Louie are a little bit involved with that too. So, and again, that was something that was going on with Ron also because it was his protege that was working on it with him. Planet Orson. Thank you, Mikey and Louie. Planet Orson. There you go. So now I don't have to do the post, but so you can look that up on, I believe on Facebook, you could find the Facebook fan page for it. There's a whole thing going on with that. Very cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff by Jared and the whole crew. So, and of course the producers of Mikey and Louie also on it. So definitely, cool stuff. So Ron's vision and everything will live on through that project and everything. So stay tuned for that. I just wanted to just celebrate his life because he was a really cool dude, and I'm the kind of person that whenever we lose someone in our fandom, I always want to celebrate them because creative people. I've said this many many times. Creative people touch us in many ways that stay with us forever. And there's an old saying that immortality is only given to conquerors, creators, and politicians, unfortunately. So the creators will always be people that'll be immortal. Long after we're dead, we'll still remember Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, all the greats, and we'll remember, of course, the contribution that Ron gave to us and that of RC, maybe Unicron, and everyone else. Rest in peace, Ron. You're an awesome, awesome dude. And maybe I'll see you up there in the pearly gates. Who knows? I'm going down there probably. Anyways, so that's it more or less for the news. We'll talk about what we got this week. We'll talk about sponsors, and then we'll open it up to super chats and just chill for the rest of the evening. Got quite a few cool things to talk about. Quite a few cool things. Got my Big Bad Toy Store box in the mail. Finally, after all the crazy tariff silliness and not to mention Canada Post going on strike again. So that all showed up in the mail early. And I got some cool Cyberworld stuff that I didn't get to talk about last week. But first, first, just move my water here. First, let's do sponsorship, and then we'll get into the cool stuff, and then we'll take some super chats too. So first, let's talk Symbiote Studios. So we have confirmed that not TFCon Chicago coming up, but 100% at TFCon LA, there will be a whole bunch of brand new plushes debuting in limited numbers for the first time at TFCon LA. So be sure to mark your calendar for March of 2026 because you're going to be getting all of the others that are going to show up. The big boys, the Optimus, the Starscream, the Bumblebee, and of course the Soundwave Superior that's there, the brand new one there. All the Dinobots will be available, including the debut of Swoop. We'll also have Laserbeak with its shoulder sitter, which sold out at San Diego Comic-Con within 2 days, which was insanely popular, that one. So that'll be there too. And many, many more. Brand new pins, brand new t-shirts, all the craziness at Symbiote Studio. But if you can't make it to TFCon LA, again, check out symbiotestudios.com and go check them out. Go pick up some stuff. Their pillows are on sale right now. The Autobot Decepticon pillow on the bottom there. So if you wanted to accessorize the rest of your house with more Autobot Decepticon pillows, they now are on sale, so you could get them even cheaper and buy them in bulk. Good stuff. And they come vacuum sealed too, so it's really cool. So they don't take a lot of space when they ship. And then when you open it, they expand. It's really cool. It's really cool. I remember when I got mine, I was like, oh, that's really cool. So check those out, yo. And of course, all their other stuff, their video game stuff, their My Little Pony collection. That's absolutely crazy just how many My Little Pony stuff they got. It's crazy. And there's even more coming of the My Little Pony stuff, but I don't know that stuff. So we will see. Then, of course, we got the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We'll have a new segment up. Hopefully, next month we'll get something going for you guys. Aaron's been super busy. Conventions on his end, conventions on my end, comic book stuff, professional stuff. A lot of cool stuff going on behind the scenes for Mr. Archer. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, check that out. Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. If you're subscribed here, go check out there. Go check out Aaron's lives too. He has a lot of good live segments. Go check those out. If you need something to play in the background, learn about the history of Transformers from the guy who worked on it, and sometimes you'll hear my voice too, but definitely check that out too. The Toy Armada with Aaron Archer here on YouTube. And of course, go pick up some Posca paintings, one-on-one original art from Aaron himself on archmonster.com/shop. We have, of course, that limited time offer, free with any purchase at archermonster.com/shop. Get any item on the website and get a free black and white 2x3 sketch of any character of your choosing by Aaron himself, and he'll even sign it. Deal ends October 20th, 2025. So if you want to pick up one of these, you'll get a free sketch, anything you want. So nice little deal there too. Check that out, yo. archermonster.com/shop, yo. And last but not least, again, the Mega Men. Not much really I could say, except all of these right now are either you picked them up in stores or you didn't. I will at TFCon in Chicago, I will try to get a small number of copies of each cover to bring to the show. So cover pretty much what you're looking at here cover A, B, C, and D. Not the Keen Biscuit cover on the top right there. That was like a super limited web exclusive. But all the others will be available at TFCon Chicago. I will be bringing a small number of them. So if you have not picked it up somehow, I will have some at the show if you are interested. They'll already be bagged and boarded, ready for you to go to protect when you ship it back home. So check that out, yo. It's a shame Josh Perez won't be there, and you could get the colorist to sign it too. But Josh is usually at other Transformer conventions, so if you pick up this book, it's sooner or later. If you go to other Transformer shows, you'll encounter Josh Perez, and you'll be able to get another signature on it too. So stay tuned for that at a future TFCon next month. Faux show. What do you have here, T-Formers? Aaron told me he's been sick all week, but should be feeling better. Okay, cool. That explains why he's not here right now, I guess. Yeah, I know. Well, again, it's been one convention after another. It's been pretty crazy. And anyone who knows doing, 3-day convention, 2-day conventions, you never eat well. So if you do like weekend after weekend after weekend of conventions, you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, you're like awake for like, way more than you need to be. You're not getting good sleep. You're not sleeping in your own bed sometimes. So sometimes that's tough for people. Like they don't sleep well. They hear stuff in the hallway, it keeps them awake. So it's not easy. I feel you. I feel you, Aaron. Totally. Totally. But that's it more or less. So check that out again, archermonster.com/shop and Symbiote Studios. Thanks again for everything. Let's talk about what we got this week. So, wanted to talk about it last week, but I picked up a bunch of Cyberworld stuff. So far, I own pretty much almost everything of this scale. This, I guess we'll call it the Cyber Changer, which is the smallest price point here. And I think that Snarl is the best one of the bunch. Really cool figure, that one. I dig him. Comes with a weapon. Second place probably goes to Mister over here. Got me the Skybite. Very, very cool, that one. And then, of course, probably the least exciting of the bunch. And all honesty, not the best, but I bought it because Perez did the box art on this one. So I'm going to get him to sign the box. The Optimus Prime, which is okay, I guess. Optimus is fine. Interestingly enough, I want to point this out. He doesn't have a matrix of leadership in his chest. Like they have the sculpted detail in the chest, but there's no matrix. So that's interesting. I wonder if that's a plot point. And also, if you put him like this, oh hey, Now it's Stacks from GoBots. Paint them orange, guys. Yeah, very, very cool. Again, if you had to get one, I would get the colored Ninja Warrior Dinobot Snarl. That's kind of the one that I really dig of the bunch thus far. And again, what's cool about him is there's clearly some Wild King components going on. Like all of these plug points and everything, like Wild King. I can't stress this enough. Like if you get a Wild King figure, like I mean, there was probably some DNA or something going on somewhere where this was supposed to be all one line or something. I don't know. I do not know, but you know, something was there. Wild King. Speaking of which, the latest episode of Transformers Wild King debuted 2 days ago, but Takara Tomy, for whatever reason, their web developer for their YouTube channel, set the latest episode of Transformers Wild King on Japan only. So, is there anyone out there from Japan that has watched the latest episode, and can they re-upload it to something that's region free, please? Because I would like to watch episode 10 of Wild King, but Japan only. I guess we need a VPN or something, but I don't have that. I live in Canada, so I don't really need a VPN, but I guess now I do. Now I do need one. Aaron is the man, says Mikey and Louie. And T Former says, Aaron told me. Oh, I saw that part. T Former says, Wave 2 just started popping up my store. Saw Starscream and Alita today. Yeah, if I see Starscream and Alita, I'm going to pick them up. I love these guys. They're $10 and they're fun, you know? $10 fun little Transformers that have good fiction, fun little fiction associated with it. Who would have thought? Like to me, that's the cool thing. Like I like this figure, but I like it even more now with the fun innuendos and nuances that the cartoon has with it. And yeah, sure, it's a simple transformation. I mean, it's super easy, like literally, there you go. Yeah, oh, there we go. Yeah, it's a super simple transformation and stuff, but they're fun. They're fun little desk formers. They have charm and character because of how the show is and stuff. So it's something that I'm down. I'm down. Sign me up for that. Sometimes, Transformers doesn't have to be super complicated, and clearly the writers of the show are writing for even adults because a lot of the jokes and everything are in it are kind of like nuance and like little Easter eggs and stuff that usually only like, teenagers and adults would understand. So very, very cool. I dig it. I dig it. Great line of stuff. What also I got, this is the Big Bad Toy Store box. I finally got my event exclusive uh 30 Mega Man X Rokuman X. I finally got that in the mail, which is this die-cast articulated figure. For people that are wondering, this is the D Arts version, which is slightly taller than this one, but still very cool. So if you couldn't get the D Arts Mega Man X, this is a good alternative from 30. I haven't opened it yet, but this is the event numbered version, so it was sent to me by them. So I might just keep this one sealed as a collectible, and then maybe I'll get the regular one and crack that one open. And then, of course, this buddy here, I've been waiting for a while now, had him on pre-order for so much. This is a deep cut. You're going to probably see an Instagram post in the near future. So I'm a big fighting game aficionado. Played fighting games competitively for years, and I love the King of Fighters franchise with SNK. And my main guy of my team of three, no matter what would change, I would always have my boy Kim Kapwan from Korea, the Taekwondo expert. And he has always been shortchanged on merchandise and action figures over the past 30 years. Actually, it's even earlier than that. I think it was 1993. So 31 years. 32, 33, 34. So he finally has a figure, a nice 6-inch, beautiful Storm Collectibles, Kim Kapwan. That's a lot of hands for a guy who is a Taekwondo expert, but using his feet. but still love it. Super cool. Super stoked about this for him to finally get a cool figure. Dig that. That's awesome. I have like every piece of merchandise of this guy, and that's a very short list. And you're going to see that uh, when I post it on my Insta. So if you want to learn more about that guy, check out my Instagram. There'll be a nice little collection of stuff there. Probably people saw on my Twitter just a couple of moments ago. I posted all my Proto Man stuff to celebrate Proto Man's 35th anniversary. Today is Proto Man, not this Proto Man, the actual Proto Man, who I only have one figure of him here, but this guy, um, it's his 35th birthday today. So I posted all my stuff there too. I'm crazy. uh, let's see. Where are we at here? Oh, Aaron is in here. Hey, Aaron. Heard you were sick. I guess you're okay. Chilling out. Everyone wish Aaron well. Um, Fawn Art says I need to send you some stuff. Final Faction blockies. Oh yeah, we'll talk Fawn later. Got to get me those last of the Final Faction stuff. Then I can build my army. I want to take some nice photos with them and everything. They'll look good because I have like a lot of cool like the big GI Joe play sets. Like I don't own the USS Flag and stuff, but I have like the Rolling Thunder and some of the others, and they make for really good photography because they're so big. So like that'll be kind of cool to take photos with the Rolling Thunder and everything, and put my boy Dusty in there just because he's awesome. So many protos. Oh, too many protos. Too many protos. Too much protos. James, you need to get a Proto Man figure in a Formula One car. Well, I mean, we have Battle and Chase, which is actually the last thing. So, if people saw the news recently, the brand new Switch game, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, they just announced that Proto Man will be in it with Mega Man in this game. So I've already been playing it, leveling up all the garage stuff so I could have all the tools ready for when Proto Man debuts. I think he's going to debut in November as a DLC. I have the can't show the code here. I already put it, but I have the season pass already. So, needless to say, I'm ready for when Proto Man debuts, and then I'll make this perfect. I probably should take a photo of it. Right now, I'm playing as Knuckles, and I have a car that's kind of customized with it's all red with a flame on the hood. Gee, I wonder who I'm making him look like. I'm trying to unlock a big yellow spoiler for him. But right now I'm racing on that. That's pretty cool. So it's a really fun game. I dig it. I think this game's like 79.99 in the States. I know it's 89.99 here in Canada, but don't let that be a reflection. I think it's 79 or 69. Really good. Everyone who can't afford the Switch 2, this is definitely better than Mario Kart Tour and World. So really good. Really, really good. The only thing it's missing that Mario Kart Tour has that open world drive around mode, but otherwise this thing's way better. Really fun. Go check it out. I'm not a big Sonic guy, but I'm definitely a big Mega Man guy. So when I found out Mega Man was going to be part of this with Proto Man, I had to pick it up. It was already pre-ordered anyways with me, but very, very cool. SpongeBob's going to be in it too. Hatsune Miku is already in it. We have people from Persona. We have who else is going to be in it? No, I'm forgetting somebody that's also going to be in this game. There's quite a few guest characters that are going to be showing up, but for me, it's Mega Man and Proto Man. So, very, very hype. Very excited about that. Very, very excited about that. Very cool stuff. And that's it, more or less. Yeah, man, it's been quite crazy what's been going on with all the news and stuff, but it's going to be even more crazy next month because next month we're going to have the Walmart Collector Con, we're going to have New York Comic Con, and then there's going to be a Japanese model hobby event, the 63rd one. So that's going to probably reveal a bunch of masterpieces and high end stuff too, from the T Spark to Kara side. And then we got TF Con that's going to be happening in Chicago. So there's going to be there's a third party reveals and all kinds of stuff there and exclusives and everything, which me and Aaron will be there. So there's going to be all that stuff too. So it's going to be a super stacked month for Transformer stuff. So that is going to be pretty hype. That's going to be pretty hype. The only other thing to mention was that I did kind of this week was there was a Magic the Gathering pre-release. The Spider-Man pre-release came out, and I went to that. It was my first time returning to pre-release since the Big V kind of ruined organized play. And man, not a lot of people showed up to that Spider-Man pre-release. I was quite disappointed. And I asked the owners of the store, I'm like, because I missed the past few pre-releases, I'm like, has it always been this bad since pre-release started again? It's like, no, it's just people aren't feeling the Spider-Man stuff. So I think we're seeing Hasbro mixing outside brands into Magic the Gathering. Maybe it's not working out. I don't know. The Final Fantasy one sold very well, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's popping. And then you know, picked up this guy last week for cheap. I don't know if he's still on sale, but a lot of cool stuff. Just really fun, really fun. It was a fun week. A lot of cool stuff this week. So I'm definitely going to keep busy this week. The Sonic game's going to probably keep me busy every day. I'm going to definitely have to fill some time in there. I mean, the Spider-Man cards are fine. Like I'm a big fan of Silver Sable. It's one of my favorite female Marvel characters, and she's featured in it. So that alone got my attention. I was like, oh, there's going to be a standalone Silver Sable card, and the Wild Pack is going to get a separate card too, and I can make a commander deck based around Silver Sable. Sounds good to me, you know? So that alone sold me. And Spider-Man 2099. I love Spider-Man 2099. So those two things alone kind of sold it for me. That I wanted to at least be a little bit involved in playing it. And then I bought some singles of Silver Sable when I cracked my packs and I didn't get her. So, but otherwise, that's it. Like I would have liked to get the Thanos Soul Stone, but that's like $1,000 card. That's the thing that's insane with Magic now. Now, right out of the gate, brand new cards, fresh from the pack, are worth thousands of dollars. And it has nothing to do with the mechanicalness of how powerful it is in the game. It just has to do with the artificial scarcity and artificial hype that's created around those cards, which is wild when you think about it. Like to me, I could understand old cards being worth money because there's less of them. It's more scarce and on a much more organic way. In that, how many mint copies of just alpha printed rares from Magic the Gathering exist? And yeah, there's thousands of them out there, but how many of them are mint and brand new? But like now you're gonna have like, oh hey, this Soul Stone, we only made 1,000 of them, and we're gonna ask like $500 each. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So that's kind of like my long short rant on that. I don't think, but I understand what Hasbro's trying to do. They're trying to make a lot of easy profit from a very low cost thing, which is trading card games, you know? So it's pretty nutty. It's pretty nutty. But what do we got for super chats? We'll take some questions from you guys. Let me know what you think about everything that's been happening this week. It's been quite interesting. We're going to be doing some announcements also for Chicago coming up outside of the Mega Man comic books I might as well show it here, that we will be bringing. We're going to be bringing the Mega Man books, but we just a very small number of them. So I apologize if they sell out all on Friday before the show even starts. But we're going to bring a small number of those. And then we have the leftovers of the Yellow Bee exclusive. This is the last run of Yellow Bee. I like to hit all 3 shows every time we do an exclusive. So this will be the last for 2025 for Yellow Bee, which is this one right here. So that'll be available in Chicago. The Bumblebee Pokemon exclusive. Check that out, yo. With Rat Trap on the cover. So Yellow Bee will be available at the show. So check that out too. And then we're going to have to work on something brand new for 2026. A lot of cool stuff going on. Mikey and Louie Proto, what do you think of the coming next for Missing Link? Well, I mean, we're obviously going to get a repaint of Ultra Magnus into Delta Magnus, aka Powered Convoy. That's probably going to be the next one, 100% for sure. So that is definitely going to be the next one. After that, I mean, the rumor has been Grimlock. There was this Chinese poster on a Chinese message board that said that Ultra Magnus and Grimlock were going to be next, and lo and behold, he was right about Ultra Magnus. So I'm going to believe this guy that Grimlock is the next one. I think Grimlock makes sense. It's number one, it's a mold that is lost. After Generation 2, that mold disappeared, can't be found anymore, so it hasn't been reissued. So it's a good opportunity to revisit an old tooling and then make a brand new tooling based in its spirit. So we could, have that kind of like what happened with the Sunstreaker. It was kind of the same story, but Sunstreaker also had a little bit more, also it was like the first thing that Koji Ono designed. So there's a lot of history with that. But Grimlock supposedly is the next one. And to be fair, Grimlock's figure already was pretty good when it came to articulation and stuff. So it's just going to be adding a little more. Like, I mean, Grimlock technically has knees, Grimlock could technically do like a side kick. He could do like the super kick from Shawn Michaels. Like he had pretty good Grimlock, had pretty good articulation already. They'll probably just add more stuff in the shoulders. They'll probably give him an open and closing hand instead of just a peg hole hand. They'll obviously improve it, but I just feel that you know, they'll make it better. They'll probably do a different head sculpt with show accurate colors because the original Grimlock had red eyes on both the Dino mode and the robot mode. So they'll give him the blue visor, the blue eyes on the Grimlock Dino mode. They'll do like a more screen accurate colored one, a show accurate color one. They'll probably do different head sculpt. They'll probably give different accessories. They'll probably give the gun and the blaster, and the sword with the toy one. They'll probably give just the sword, probably with like a flame on it for the anime one. They'll, what they do. They always mix things up, make things look unique. But that's what I think is going to be next. Is definitely Grimlock. If it's outside of what the rumors are, I mean, obviously Starscream. I mean, if they haven't done it yet, it's bound to happen. So that's kind of the next one there. And then that opens it up to Seeker molds up the wazoo. And I mean, for Starscream, all you have to do is like look at the original Robot Masters. Like look at the old Robot Master Starscream, and you could kind of already imagine what a Missing Link version would be, because Robot Master Starscream kind of was like Missing Link before Missing Link was a thing. James. Well, Mikey Lou says we'll never see Megatron, sadly. I don't know about that. Megatron's a strong possibility. If Megatron has a chance, it would be in Missing Link, in my opinion. But I think they'll try to get some of the more safer ones done first before they do a Missing Link. James, the new price increases have already hit. Got store call from Mijer that they went prices raised already. I think Hasbro's site raised some of their prices too. Yeah, well, when Mister here was being shipped to me, Big Bad Toy Store Joel sent me an email and he said, "Look, I know that I pre-ordered this thing, no joke, probably like 8 months ago. Like I pre-ordered this day one, and when I pre-ordered it, I was like locked in. I think at like $61." And they like messaged me and said, "Hey, look, like we have to raise it to 60, I think 68, 69 giggity. If you still want to keep your pre-order, just let me know." And I'm like, no. I'm still paying. I don't care. Been waiting for this guy forever. Not going to stop now. But yeah, prices have been increasing. Sad reality. The thing is, and I want everyone to pay attention because unfortunately no one has money muscle memory. I always document all this stuff. I have a folder on my computer of prices and stuff. I am very curious that when this whole political stuff ends and whoever is next gets rid of the tariffs, right? Let's look what the corporate companies do. Because if they don't lower the prices after tariffs are removed, we will know that all of this was a big Fugazi smoke show, you know? So always pay attention to that, guys, because sometimes I feel like it's very easy to blame this and that. but sometimes it's just an excuse by companies to just keep raising prices because they just want to. They live in a perpetual, always have to show profits on their stock market. You know what I mean? It's always like, hey, we made record sales. Hey, we made record sales. Hey, we made record sales. Stock go up, stock go up, stock go up, record sale, record sale. Sooner or later you can't do that anymore. You know, sooner or later you peak at what is possible. And I think what's happening is we're in this kind of situation where, you know, they're just milking Magic the Gathering, and I feel really really bad for Magic the Gathering people because that's another space that I pay attention to the prices of stuff, and prices are insane right now. And I almost feel like Hasbro's just going like, we're just gonna milk the Magic the Gathering people because they're so easy to like. We tell them, oh, packs are $5. Maybe they're 7. Maybe they're 10. You know what? How about 12? Actually, how about 25? You know? Oh, how about they're still 25, but we're going to take one card out of it. Sneaky. You know? They're really good at that. And it costs cardboard, which costs nothing, you know? So it's been pretty crazy. It's been pretty crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, just pay attention to what the companies are doing. Let's ignore the political stuff and whoever you voted for and stuff, because those things are always temporary. That's one thing you got to understand is that presidents are temporary, political sides are temporary, but some of these CEOs of companies are forever, are forever. You know, Mr. Bezos, you know, has gone through like 5 different presidents and prices just kept going up and free shipping on Amazon kept getting further and further away, you know? So it's something where pay attention to those dudes because those are the dudes you really got to worry about. And it's the same thing with the companies that make the products that we love. You got to pay attention to that. And I mean, that's why I was a lifelong completist of Transformer toys working at Burger King. I was able to pull that off, you know? And even today, with my much better pay as a mechanic, that world doesn't exist anymore. Like it is so expensive. Like everything across the board, everything is expensive. And the world just didn't catch up to that. It just didn't. It outran it completely. And now they're using all these other excuses. But between 2020 and 2025, we had 3 price increases, and a boogeyman was attached to each one of them. And each boogeyman, it was like, oh, this is the reason. Oh, this is the reason. Oh, this is the reason. And they know because they sit in their boardrooms and go, don't worry, they're stupid. They'll forget how much they paid before, and then we'll just normalize that price even when things go down. And they do. They normalize a price, and it's going to be like that. So I'm very curious to see all these new price increases across all these different companies if they stay. And the sad truth is, the tariff stuff's going to be removed, and I think everything's going to stay the same. And they're just going to be like, hey, tariffs are gone. And now we could make more profit because we normalized the new higher MSRP. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one. You know, it's going to be a real tough one. And me, again, I'm not a political guy. I don't give an F about any of that stuff. I don't give a F about any of it. The moment you start ignoring that stuff and just focusing on yourself and your own little thing, you'll be surprised how much more successful. The people that waste so much time and energy and money focusing on politics when you could be learning a language and traveling the world or doing something else, you know. And granted, you might associate, you know, political success with your own monetary success, but usually the two aren't correlated too much. Let me tell you something. I had a lot of I had a lot of friends who thought like when a certain president became president that it was going to be the game changer for them. And it's not who you think it is. This goes back a little more. And it didn't work out. They literally thought it was, you know, it was going to be all milk and honey, and that was not the case. That's all I'm going to say. James, when I started collecting deluxes were 14. James, when I started collecting deluxes were 12. And because I'm an old man. Um, like that's, you know, man, let me go get something. One moment. Hold on. Sorry, Butters. Here. Butters, go say hi to everybody. Yo, what's up, peeps? Here, buddy, you chill over here for them for now.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Butters. Butters. You gonna leave some room for me, Butters? Ugh. There we go. Oh, we got super chats too. So, I always love to show this. So, I bought this many years ago. I bought this from Zellers. My Zellers across from my parents' house. This is Wave 3 Cheetor. This is the Green Eye edition. The only reason why I left it on the card back was because I bought it because it was the Green Eye edition. And then I said to myself after I bought it, I was like, well, I already have Cheetor, and this is just a variant. Maybe I'll keep it on the card back. Maybe it'll be worth money one day. Look how much that was. And keep in mind, this is Canadian. Okay. 1347. And this is the Canadian price. So that means if it was 1347 for wave 3, in the United States, it was $10 for a deluxe. $10 deluxes back then. The old deluxe. The beginning of the true price points. A beautiful carded Cheetor. It hangs next to my Beast Wars collection as a reminder of that. All the other cats are coming in now. We got here super chats. Mark Morales, $2 super chat. Thank you, Mark. How long till most fans tap out from the high cost? Well, what usually happens, and this is what I always tell people, is whenever prices become expensive, the good thing about our hobby is that it's a trickle down hobby. And what I mean by that is take the money that you would have spent on retail product, hold on to it, right? Instead of like running out and buying the latest sea spray or the latest this or the latest that, hold on to that money. Go to a TF Con. Trust me, the memories are going to be worth more than any piece of plastic you buy, but you'll still be able to get plastic because you go to a TF Con and then that's the trickle down. Because when you go to TF Con, there is so many cheap loose figures there. You could still participate in the hobby, get new figures, and like, oh hey, like, oh, I got this guy here, and he was loose in a bin for like $5, or you could buy him at the core class MSRP of $12.99, or $5, or $12.99, or $5, you know? So it's something where there's so many people that bring new merch, but there's so much open package merch. And the reality is the concept of a new Transformer is only new to you, you know? Like, hey, this is new to me. Yeah, okay, maybe she came out like 4 or 5 months ago, but it's a new figure for me to experience. So you go to cons, you get that cool social experience, you get to meet other fans, and you get to buy cheap product that's loose and opened. And that's the best way to do it. And that's the trickle down effect because so many times, I mean, gosh, anyone who's been to TFCon Toronto, the amount of cheap stuff at the charity auction, guys, the charity auction. I run the charity auction with Ian. The amount of cheap, good stuff that is donated. My goodness. Yeah, okay, there's some crazy bidding wars and that happen, but in general, there's so much great stuff that are there. I would just take that money, allocate it to that, and have a lifetime experience that you will never be able to replicate. Something you can't buy. Going to TFCon, meeting people, hanging out in the evenings, taking photos with friends that you'll probably have for the rest of your life, like meeting voice actors, meeting comic creators, meeting doofuses like this who are kind of a little bit of everything, meeting Aaron Archer, like meeting everybody, going to charity auctions, going to the deal rooms, rummaging through bins, finding cheap deals. Oh, Proto, I found this deluxe for $10. Hey, remember buying a deluxe for $10 cash in? You could still do that at TFCon. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like you could get oh hey, like I picked him up for 15. Do you know how much this guy would be if he came out today? He'd be like $30, in a box. You know? So to me, there's no way that a fan could tap out. They just have to reevaluate how they purchase their product. That's all. There's so many ways to go about it. So many ways to go about it. Patrick Brown, 1347. Yeah, it is a very specific amount, eh? That is weird. That's Zellers for you. But it's kind of like, I guess, maybe like Walmart. Like how Walmart is like always 97. I guess maybe that's how they know if a product is on. Mind you, Zellers never put anything on sale back in the day. They never put anything on sale. Like I remember when Beast Wars was Beast Wars was long and done. Like long and done. And I think we were just starting Armada. There were still Beast Wars toys at Zellers. Like they just held on. They held on, man. Like Armada was like, I think Armada was like wave 2, and I was still finding Drill Bit and Iguanus. Like it was crazy. Zellers just never gets rid of anything. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. That's what used to happen. Like when you were a toy collector, if you were late to the game on like a toy line, you'd always tell your friends, "Oh, go check out Zellers." You never know, they might still have it. Because I remember a friend of mine, like, remember there was that CG Ninja Turtles movie, not the one that just passed, the one before it, that had Karai in it. I think it was like whatever you want, TMNT 4, I guess we could call it. I remember a friend of mine saw that movie like 2 years after it came out. And then he was asking me, he was like, "Hey, do you know anyone that might have the figures of it?" And I was like, "Dude, my Zellers next door still has them." And he went and picked them up. So, classic example of that. T-Formers 2000. Let's make a deal is mad. Yeah, man. At the charity auction, the let's make a deal stuff. Like, dude, go up to the table. Hey, here's this deluxe. I'll give you $5 for it. Okay. Like crush it, man. 2000, it was in 2007. Okay. So that makes sense. It's true. Yeah. It was in 2007 because my friend asked me when I had just moved out and bought this place. So yeah, it was 2 years after the fact. That is true. That makes sense. Yeah, that is right. Ah, yeah, they had McDonald's toys too. I remember those. They had a lot of good McDonald's TMNT toys. Burger King did too at one point. Mm, man, I am so thirsty. Someone asked what did I have for dinner? So what I had that was so salty. So the wife made two different Chinese dishes. She made sao lam bao and what's the other one that she made? I can't even pronounce these. Sao lam bao and the one that has shrimp in it. Oh my god. Oh, suai mai and xiao lam bao. And so it's like these dumplings. One of them has like pork, one of them has shrimp in it. They're steamed in a steamer that she has and everything. And then we have like a semi-spicy but extremely salty kind of like soy dipping sauce kind of thing, which it's probably not even a soy dipping sauce. This is just this white guy not having a clue what he's eating. So I had a ton of that, super full, but extremely salty. So I'm all like, ah. Like me, I have something that's called like an MSG cup. When I have too much salt, like it all just gets here. So, yeah. So that's that. Mark Morales with $2 super chat. Saw Funko hot rods at GameStop. You interested? Well, I mean, I'm happy with what I got. I know that there's the Matrix one that's out there. I will get that one at some point. I'm in no rush. I think I have one coming to me actually, so that's not too much of a something I'm looking for. I just want the NFT one. That's the only one I'm missing. That stupid NFT hot rod. But I'm not paying $100 for a Funko Pop. I'm not paying $100 for something that has 0 points of articulation. Let's put it that way. You know, even statues, I'm always like, ugh, I don't know. But thank you for asking, Mark. But I'm good. I'm good. Paul with the $5 super chat. Did Super Sentai have any influence on microchange or Diaclone in Japan? Someone mentioned to me a while back that SS came out first in Japan. 110%, Paul. Super Sentai had a huge influence on Diaclone. Which book should I pull out here that would have which Diaclone book from the library? So a good example that I always want to use with people is if you look at the old microchange little Diaclone drivers. They're all color coded. And when you look at guys like Robotobase, it literally is like the Megazord in the chest for Westerners. Like it's mecha piloted robots. It was a mixture of the influence of what was going on with the super robot genre and Gundam with the real robot genre, because Gundam was firing on all cylinders at that time. Like when Diaclone was being conceived at the time, Gundam was huge, like huge, because Gundam kind of failed in its original release, but then they released the movies of Gundam, like was compilations of the episodes in movie theaters, and those movies did very well, and then kind of blew up for Gundam with Gunpla and the model kits and stuff. So Takara was looking at that, and they're like, "Oh, we got to get in on the mecha robot genre." And then Sentai also with their color coded elements and stuff. And I mean, history always repeats itself because I mean, Gundam Wing was Sentai. They looked at what was going on with Sentai and went, how do we appeal to Sentai audiences and the female demographic? And that's what Gundam Wing was. You know, you have all of that, but 110% Super Sentai influenced it. Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, those two probably influenced, I would have to say, 50% of Japanese culture in some shape or form when it comes to pop culture. Kamen Rider with Mega Man, you know, and Super Sentai has elements that I wouldn't be surprised that found their way into Mega Man also. So 110%. And you could see it. Roboto base, the cockpit, the color coded Diaclone drivers that each could be a ranger, you know. Uh, I I don't know which book to pull out that I don't want to start pulling out books right now, but it's like there's a really good one that shows some of the key art from one of the catalogs from Diaclone. And if you look at the key art, it's very clear it's a color coded team of heroes, you know? And all of that, by the way, now Sentai and Super Sentai was inspired by Thunderbirds and Super Marionation. So we all have to thank Thunderbirds and Jerry Anderson and all of that stuff. So that kind of was like the brainchild of all of it. And then Thunderbirds and Jerry Anderson was inspired by all the 1940s and 1950s, you know, rescue serials and Flash Gordon and stuff. So there's all of that. Everything's influenced by everything. It's always like that. When I write the Mega Man comics, there's stuff in my mind that I write from that is inspired and influenced by stuff that I enjoy. You know, so everything is always inspired by something. It's like you could go all the way back to like stuff like Metropolis and Flash Gordon, and I'm pretty sure the stuff that was Metropolis and Flash Gordon were inspired by stuff. And then you could keep going back and back and back, you know. There's always something. The idea of a robot was probably inspired by the golem from the Torah and the Bible. And you know, like and the golem and the Torah inspired inspired robots, which then inspired all the robots that we have today. So it's a very interesting, you know, when you get into pop culture and fiction, how far it goes back and that bleed, it gets really interesting. It gets really interesting. Hope that answers that, Paul. But yeah, Super Sentai came out 1967, 1968 was the first Super Sentai. Go Ranger. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that was it. And of course, you had Ultraman that predates that. And then you have Godzilla that predates that. All of those Toku stuff. T-Formers 2002 saw the NFT hit the super deep discount. You got it. Saw one side once the NFT hits super, you got it. Okay. Well, yeah. If it ever does hit that discount, unfortunately, the NFT Transformers were obviously purchased and bought by NFT guys. So I don't know if they're going to want to reduce their yields. I don't know. I don't. You know, there's not much of it. And maybe you're right, Rodimus. I just know that it's like because I know that Kamen Rider came a year afterwards for Super Sentai. Because you had Super Sentai, then you had Jack Q, then you had gosh, what was after that one? I don't remember. going off the top of my head here right now. But yeah, I mean, it's something where like that influenced so much stuff. It really did. You know, the creator of Sailor Moon said that Super Sentai influenced her when she was creating Sailor Moon. You know, she looked at the magical girl genre and everything that Go Nagai created with Cutie Honey back in the 60s and took Sailor Moon and put those all together. T-Formers 2000, current cheapest on eBay is 75 plus shipping. No thanks. Yeah, exactly. No, thank you. And not to mention right now with the taxes and the tariffs and everything, let's just say I'm in no rush to buy anything off of eBay right now. You know, I am in no rush to buy anything off of eBay. I'm playing it safe for the time being. Oh wait, look, there's a glorious TFCon coming in a couple weeks. I'll buy a whole bunch of cool stuff then. You know, like last TFCon, I bought the Machine Robo Battle Base. That was my cool present to myself. So I'm pretty sure I'll find some cool item there that I'll pick up. I don't know what it'll be yet. I'll see it when I see it. Digging through the bins, find some cool stuff. You know, there's always something cool there. That's what I always do. You know, like I go there, sell a couple exclusives, sell a couple comic books, go buy myself something nice, enjoy the weekend. That's how I am. You know, meet a few nice people. I mean, it's cool because Travis is going to be there, so the voice of Cyberverse Hot Rod's going to be back. There's a few good voice actors that were announced. There's still more announcements this week, but we'll stay tuned for that. There's a lot of good stuff coming. You should never miss out on a TFCon if you could get the chance. That's what I always tell people. You know, like I get it, like, hey, it's not near you or it's not in your town, but there's a West Coast and an East Coast one. So you always just got to kind of measure which one's closer to you, and then you could plan your trip around it. You know, fly out there, you know, most state to state, $400 most of the time. You know, 3 days at a hotel. Let's say you don't want to stay 3 days, you're going to stay 1 day. 1 day at a hotel. TFCon has a hotel rate on their website if you use their code. I think it's like $100 a night. So $400 maximum for a flight state to state. You know, there's a shuttle bus, by the way. So this is what's really cool for people that don't know. If you're arriving by plane, there's a shuttle bus from the airport to the hotel, so you don't even need to pay for an Uber. So you save on that. You know, just ask one of the security, hey, where's the shuttle bus to this hotel? And they'll direct you. That's the one good thing about the Chicago location. And you know, cheap hotel room, get a flight, rock out, man. Hang out in the evenings, hang out with people. You know, the one cool thing that I always tell people, you know one thing, everyone in that room likes the same thing you do. So it makes it a lot easier, you know? Makes it a lot easier. Mikey and Louie, will we be getting a Monstructor repaint? Supposedly, I think it was Evan made a mention that it is something that he said that if they did do a Monstructor repaint, they'd want to retool the Dinobots from the ground up. So it sounds like if we do get one, it's not going to be just a repaint. It's going to be like a redeco and like a partial and everything. So we'll see with that one. I know he mentioned something about it. It was Evan that said it a while back. Airy Note with the $2 super chat. Thoughts on the Maximal Predacon multi-pack listing? I mean, that could be anything. Pick a kingdom mold. And then think of a color that hasn't been done yet. It's pretty cut and dry for some of those, you know? I mean, look, we haven't gotten let me think here. Like we haven't gotten Pack Rat yet. You know, we didn't get that one from the core class Rat Trap, you know, so there's a lot of like little BotCon homages and little things like that. So a lot of cool stuff like that. Where are we at here? T-Formers 2002 hype for oh yeah, Arthur's going to be at so Arthur is going to be at the TFCon Chicago. That is an autograph, guys. If you're going to be at Chicago, I'm telling you, I don't want to jinx it, but Arthur has been in and out of his health a lot of times. So I don't want to be a doomer, but get that autograph while you can. That's all I'm saying, you know? So he's going to be there. He's going to be with his daughter. His daughter's going to be his handler. Arthur is a handful, for a lack of better words. So just be patient with him. He's a very interesting individual. Um, you're going to probably hear the N word a lot that weekend because Arthur likes to use the N word very loosely, to say the least. Um, I have some great footage of him and the voice of Splinter from Ninja Turtles. He was the voice of, I think he was the voice of Sandstorm from G1. That's why he was at TFCon. And they were like singing together, and it was just wild. He is such a interesting character, Arthur. Absolute madman. Oh my goodness. There's stories I can't even tell. I can't even tell them here on the live stream. Like there's just so many. I've met him like 5, 6 times now because he's done so many shows, but he's a wacky one. Bigum, I feel bad whenever I get stuck talking. When I start talking to my wife at the bar at TF. Well, it happens. You know what? That's a big primary reason why I don't bring my wife to TFCon. I brought her to the Toronto video game show, the expo there, because that at least kind of has stuff that she could enjoy. But I know that if I bring her to TFCon, like she's just going to be left alone in the hotel room, like she'll be bored and she'll have nowhere she could go. Because it's one, if we drive in, at least she has a car, she could drive around, she could go shopping. You know, when you fly in, you're stuck on that island, you're stuck in the bubble, and that's fine for us because it's Transformer toys, and then you go to the hotel room and it's Transformer people, and you go to the hotel lobby and it's Transformer people and Transformers everywhere, and then room parties and all the different hotel rooms, and there's evening events that are Transformers, like your whole 24-hour experience for 3 days is Transformers. If you bring someone who's not part of that world, they're going to be bored. Many times I've gone to room parties at TF cons and BotCons back in the day, and you'd have like a guy who's running the room party, and you could clearly tell that his wife is there in the corner just like reading a book. This is before cell phones. She'd be like reading a book, bored out of her mind or something, and I would see that all the time, and I'd feel bad. And that's why, I brought Sandy with to the early TF cons when it was a small show and quiet, but as it got more crazy and my role in the greater scheme that is Transformers grew and grew, I understood her staying behind, you know? So it is weird. James, man, there was just a fight on my back porch between a possum, a raccoon, and a skunk. Thank God they didn't spray. But who won? Who got put over? I'm going to assume the possum won because, the raccoon and the skunk are kind of surly and they don't have much range of motion, where a possum's a bit of a fighter. So I'm going to assume the possum won. Bigum, just friends she hasn't met yet. Well, I mean, look, if you want to bring your wife, that's cool. I mean, if she has the patience for it, for that environment, it's something where I brought her in the past and she would have fun, because at first when I would bring her, there was like the TFCon Wives Club, like there was actually other guys that would bring their wives too, and they'd all just hang out, you know. But then that slowly diminished. Specifically, one of those guys, their wife got divorced from him, so that kind of crumbled everything. So now all the girls have no one to hang out with, so it's kind of different, you know. Yeah, seriously, it was like a Pokemon battle back there. Uh, you won. Yes, you did. Try to catch them all. But yeah, I can't stress enough. Like, people have to at least go to TF cons. They have to. Like, it's something that if you enjoy this hobby and it makes up a good portion of the time that you spend, and the things that you enjoy, I can't stress enough doing TF cons. I can't. Like, there's too much to enjoy there. Like, there's so many layers. It's like, first you have the dealer room, which is just stacked from head to toe of every possible toy. You name a Transformer brand, a subline, a micro line, it's probably there. If you're going in there and you're like, I'm going to buy a lucky draw this weekend, there's probably a lucky draw there. Everything that you could possibly imagine of every kind of Transformer stuff is there. You start with that. Then the third party stuff, that's all there too. Then if you're one of those guys that are looking for the cheap stuff, right? Not only are there going to be people with bins of cheap stuff, but there's all the parts parties. Parts parties happen in the evening. There's a beautiful sign that's going to be in the lobby. People are going to put, hey, come to my room. I'm selling cheap Transformers. And you go into people's rooms and they're selling like cheap robots, you know? So you're going to find your deals there too. And that's just the purchasing stuff. Then you have the exclusives that weekend. Now, granted, they're usually third party, but there is exclusive product that weekend. So you'll have something that's exclusive to the show. Some people look at it as a souvenir. Like, oh, I want to get something that represents this show, this one show that I've gone to. So you get that one exclusive from the show, and it's kind of like your souvenir of that year that you went. Then, of course, you have all the guests. You have all the voice actors. You have all the comic book creators. So you can get autographs and photos from the voice actors, original art, drawn art, commissions, and everything from the artists, comic books signed from the artists. You have all kinds of other content creators that are there too that have tables, weirdos and stuff like that. So a bunch of weird guys there with messy hair and stuff like that. So it's something where there's all kinds of different guests that you can meet. Then you have the other element of just all the other fan events, because there's card game events, D&D events, like they have like Transformer RPG gatherings. There's panels, discussion panels, hangout panels. There's all kinds of different kind of like gatherings, like cosplay contests and all kinds of stuff. There's so many layers of things to do. And if you're just bored, and this happens a lot, you're bored, like, okay, I'm in between shopping. You go in the panel room and you chill. They're probably playing episodes of something, or there's a panel happening. So you might learn some new information or see a cool panel done by somebody. There's always something. And it goes 24 hours, because after that deal room closes, the con doesn't end. There's all these evening events. People are hanging out in the lobby. And like I said, all you have to do is walk up to a person and go, hey, what's your favorite Transformer? And they're going to have an answer. So you're going to be able to meet someone very easily and start a conversation because you all have the same interest. And it's very easy to do that. T-Formers 2002. I bought Arthur's auto a few years back at TFCon in case I never met him. He did the same with Alan Oppenheimer. Thankfully, he was at LA. Yeah. Alan Oppenheimer was one of those where I remember, I think it was TFCon 2019. He told Colin, this might be my last show. And Colin was like, oh, what are you talking about? And then, of course, the big V happened. So, and he was still able to do other conventions. But I remember like he was already kind of like winding down and stopped doing conventions. That happens a lot of times where the voice actor is the one that kind of lets you know. Because think about it, right? Traveling is not easy on the body, and we're young people. I can't even imagine a guy like, Arthur or Alan Oppenheimer and some of these others that are in their 90s getting on a plane, sitting on that plane for 3 hours, 4 hours. Ugh, I can't imagine when I'm 90 wanting to do that. Like, I'll be checked out by then. But these guys, they do it. So, something where, if you're going to be at TFCon Chicago, and you get one autograph that weekend, Arthur is probably the one you should get. Like there's always like, let's take a look right now together, guys. Let's see who the guests are, because I don't remember everything on hand. But let's take a look. Let's take a look together and see who will be the ones worth getting, because there's quite a few. And I misspelled TFCon because I have big fat mechanic fingers. There we go. I misspelled TFCon. TFCom. So we have Arthur for Devastator. Charlie Adler's going to be there, which is pretty cool. He was Starscream's voice actor, and of course he did a lot of other cool stuff too. Charlie Adler's a big voice actor in the world in general. I think I'm going to probably get some Clay Fighter stuff from him. Darren Norris is going to be there. He was the voice of Knockout So he's going to be there. So if you love Transformers Prime, of course, one of the greatest voice actors of all time, David Kaye, good old Beast Wars Megatron, is going to be there. He is the king, the best of the best. He's a new one here, Dick Turhan. He's it's funny with Dick Turhan, his story. So he's someone who only became a voice actor recently, and he's like in his 60s. So he's someone who only got into voice acting in like his 50s. So Dick is a good example of it's never too late for Dick. Well, excuse me. But yeah, so he's and he was the voice of Cyberverse Prowl. So yeah, that's pretty cool. He's going to be there too. I think that's his TFCon debut. I've seen him at other shows. And of course Travis is there. Cyberverse Hot Rod. He's really awesome. Then you got the awesome Anne Bayent. Don't have a photo there. Anne was one of the writers for G1, so she's going to be there. I met her at a GEM convention many years ago. And good old Bobby's going to be there. That's probably going to be the table I'm going to be bugging the most this weekend. I hope they put him next to me. Colin, if you're listening, put Bob next to me and Aaron. He was next to me 2 years in a row, and I was always bugging him. Always bugging him. But I like Bob. I like Bob. He's a good... Because Bob is he's very straight-laced. He's very like... And me, I'm very like high energy. But I like Bob because like someone came by our booth and they were talking to me about getting into the comic book industry. And I think it was like a young girl. I swear she must have been like 14 or 15 years old. And so I gave her like all this advice and it's like, oh, thank you. And she went away. And then Bob just turned to me. He's just like, that was good advice. Good job. I was like, thank you, Bob. Because Bob worked at Marvel for like 30 years. So I love Bob. I hope he's next to us. Colin, if you're listening, put Bob next to us, man. That'll be really cool. And then this is a clutch one too. Ralph is going to be there for Transformers. And then of course, oh, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Who's this bum? Aaron Archer is going to be there. Go get Aaron, all his art. Alex Milne's going to be there. Oop, what happened there? Oh, that's weird. What happened to Alex's art? Kind of picture they use for Alex's art there. I have to fix the website. So you got Alex Milne, so you get all the comics that he worked on. You got some Hasbro love there too. Eric Siebeneller is going to be there. So Transformers animated toy designer. Good old Siebeneller. Then you got Livio, more comic book art. Livio's also a really talented dude. And then here's another fireball of a human being. Mark Watts, the original G1 box art guy. I don't want to screw up the camera. You know what? I'm just going to take a photo of it. Mark gave me such an awesome print that I bought from him. And there we go. I got that framed and even drew a little shockwave head. Let me zoom in on the shockwave head. Drew a little shockwave head there. So get an original print from the guy who did the original 84-85 box art. Mark will be there. He's awesome. He's like a firecracker of a human being, But look at all that. You got box art, you got toy designers, you got comic book creators, you got editors, you got comic book writers, you got comic book artists, you got voice actors, you got toy designers. Like everything is there. Everything is there. Why would you not go to the show? If you could spend $400 on Transformer toys easily a year, you could put that $400 towards TFCon. Alden Tolbert with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Alden. Do you think you want a Transformer and Mega Man crossover one day? I think it'll happen. That's all I'm going to say. Hasbro and Capcom have a really good relationship. They have a really, really, really good relationship. Part of me being in Mega Man is the Hasbro connection. That's for a lack of better words, how that pretty much happened. The Transformer world and the Capcom world, the Hasbro, Takara, and the Capcom world have done a lot of collaborations together. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Let's put it that way. Look, we just have now Mega Man with Sonic the Hedgehog, but we had a Transformers Sonic the Hedgehog crossover 2-pack. So everything's building to something. Let's put it that way. Stay tuned, you know? So very, very cool. Will Murphy, I bring my wife and kids, but we only stay for one day. Well, you don't have to, that's the thing too. You don't have to stay for multiple days. I always tell people that. Like if you can't afford like hotel for 3 days or like one day is enough for you, yeah, just come for the one day. Come for the Saturday. Go on Saturday. That way you could get pretty much like you could get your fix of everything. Because I feel like Saturday is like the most optimal day. Sunday is a little more quiet. Sometimes some of the voice actors might not even be there that day, but at least like excuse me, Sunday they might not be there that day. So Saturday is like usually the best day to do it. You know, that's what I would suggest. Like fly on in, stay the night, Saturday, like Friday into Saturday, be there Saturday morning, get all your stuff in, have a good time, catch your plane out of there, enjoy your toys, transform your toys, and have a good time. But that's the way I see it. You know, there's so much fun to be had at those shows. And it's a shame that there's so many people like that always say to me, "Oh, why don't you do it in my city or why don't you do it here?" You have to travel. Like it's just the thing is that the reason why these shows are so successful and they do well is because they're always situated in good hubs that people could get to. You know, we're like I don't want to say the person's name, but I remember sitting at a TF Con in Toronto many years ago, and this person was just telling me like, you got to come to our city. You know, like we have a racetrack. We could do the convention at this racetrack. And I remember like going like, and this is me going like, I've never even heard of this city in the United States. And I had to like look it up and I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Let's go to a city with a population of 9,000 people and the closest airport is 2 hours away. Yeah, you know, but they were like refusing to fly out to a. This is when BotCon was still a thing. They were refusing to fly out to a BotCon. It had to be near them. You can't have that mentality. Look at me as a Montrealer in Canada. If I had the mentality, I'm not going to a BotCon until it's in my city, I would have never gone to a BotCon. I'm not going to a BotCon until it's in my country. I would have never gone to a BotCon. You know, you have to do that, man. You just got to get out there. You got to get out there and have fun. Have fun. What's this? All this new stuff that. It's all these new things that they're putting on YouTube now. Getting like all these like, oh, these are your number one viewers, and this is this and that. But thanks for all the super chats, guys. Good stuff today. Good questions. A lot of really good questions. Timmy K. Poindexter says, Erector is my favorite Transformer. Well, did you get the TF Con exclusive Erector figure that I worked on and wrote the comic for and the bio? Look up TF Con Shafter. I'd reach for it now, but when you get the Transformers Slag podcast gift box that is part of the Patreon, I always include a Shafter trading card with it. So people might see that. What's up, Ninja? But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. No, I'm not going to go get it now. I was going to be like, oh, I'll go get the trading card. I'll show you. But no. We're almost done here today. Shafter, giggity. I didn't name him, though. We're like, okay, we need a trademark safe Erector name for the third party figure. So we did Shafter. And he's a yellow and red repaint of Huffer with some different tooling on him. And then if you buy one of the pieces of the RID build team, it makes a good trailer for him. Works with the same colors and scale. I believe it's Hightower's piece. Yeah, I think it's Hightower. You buy the yellow repaint of Hightower. I think it was a Universe 2.0, Universe 1.0 exclusive. So you get the yellow piece of Hightower, kind of the upgrade kit for it. It's good stuff. So Mike J. Ninja wrote the filthy bio. So there was the bio on the box that was written by me, And then there was the filthy bio that was on the trading cards. We weren't able to put that bio, the suggestive bio, as you put it, we weren't able to put it on the box because the box has to be sold to family. The erector has to be sold to family and children. So we couldn't put that one out. So, but yeah, the trading card has the suggestive bio on it. Mikey Louis, Symbiote Studios Special Edition Shafter Erector. Well, I will say this: Symbiote Studios would love to do a would love to do a Huffer plush one day. And if they do a Huffer plush, then you could technically do the repaint into Shafter, but I don't know who would buy that. Maybe if it was like if you do it as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, you could get away with it, but that's about it. You wouldn't be able to do it as a mainline product. Make like 2,000 units of Shafter. Who would buy that? You know, who would buy that? But yeah, good stuff. I believe actually the exclusives for TFCon are going to be announced next week. Is it? Are we going to be the first week of October? Let me double check that. Want to make sure. Cutting it close. Okay, so maybe the week after that. I know that like the first week of October usually is when we're going to announce the exclusives, and there's a lot of cool stuff coming. Stay tuned for that. So we're going to have new exclusives. More guests are going to be announced. Every 2 days is going to be an announcement of some new guest. So there's that too to look forward to. A lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff going on. It's going to be exciting. Going to be exciting stuff. Going to be really, really exciting stuff. So I hope to see everyone there. Hope to see everyone there. And if you can't make TFCon Chicago in March of next year, March 2026 is TFCon LA, which in my opinion is, if you have to go to one TFCon of the 3 every year, that's the best one to go to. It'll have the most guests. It'll have the most attendance. It'll have, because it's in the West Coast, it'll have the most Japanese sellers. I find that most of the Japanese sellers come to the West Coast shows. So that's really good too. Javier, thank you for buying my Mega Man comic. Which cover did you get, sir? Thank you for the love and support. If you come to Chicago or LA, I will sign it for you. If you would like, or I'll draw you a little Proto Man on it or something. Oh, geez. Ninja, sorry to hear about that. Well, do you keep your stuff stored in the basement? Like, how did that flood happen? That's 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 the one problem is whenever you have any kind of valuables and stuff, you have to make sure that the paper goods are not kept at like floor level. I know that there was a guy that he stored all his card collection in his garage, and this is a story from like 2006, many years ago, and he had a slope garage, which is like it goes down like that. And so we had a crazy winter, and all the snow built up, and then it melted, and then it like flooded his garage, and all the cards that were like that the box was just touching the floor, all those cards got destroyed, and he learned his lesson. And what he did is now every time he would go to Costco, like how Costco they have like when you buy the fruits, you have like those giant, like super corrugated trays that the fruits come in. He would just take those every time and he'd build like almost like pallets in his garage so that all his stuff is always like at least, I don't want to say a foot, but like a foot and a half off the ground. So awesome. Like that's kind of the way to do it. You always have to keep stuff off. Like it's if this room magically got flooded, uh, nothing would get damaged per se. Like everything's plastic on a certain level, and I don't put a lot of boxes on the floor. So like, maybe like one or two books might get affected because the book's on the bottom of the bookshelf if the water is really high. But this room won't get flooded because when we designed it in a way that the other rooms will take the water, not this room, because this room's a little more higher elevated in the basement. But that sucks, man. That sucks to hear. It rained a lot and the pump couldn't handle it. Oh, the sump pump couldn't handle it? Man, what the hell? What the hell was it like? Like you were like That's weird. It's like you were like a funnel for everything. Well, now that you know that that area gets flooded, you need to put all your comic books in the highest possible point. That's for sure. That is for sure. You're from Chile, Javier. That's very cool. How'd you pick up the book? At your local comic store? Did you order it online? Kind of curious. Always curious to see how people pick up their books because sometimes I know that there was a lot of people internationally that wanted to pick up the comic, but they couldn't because, they didn't have a local comic book store that carried it. And I always tell people just go to udonentertainment.com. Like shipping might suck, but it's the easiest way to get it. Like it's something that, it's never easy. It's never easy when you're in international places because like look, I'm Canadian, but as far as the rest of the world's concerned, I'm still international to the United States too. So a lot of times when I order stuff, it kind of the same problem happens all the time, like all the time. Gold super chat from Racer M53, should be Racer X. $10 gold super chat. Hey Proto, got a quick offhand comment question. Those are always welcome. Has there ever been a Transformer toy that turned into a station wagon? Thanks for the vid. Much love. Uh, Not really a station wagon, but when we get into GoBots, one second, let me grab a GoBot book. Let me grab, where is Machine Robo Wedge? Transformers, when it comes to like hatchy station wagon kind of stuff, unfortunately, it's like you look at skids and that's kind of where it's at, unfortunately. But if you want a transforming robot that turns into a station wagon, this is where we get into Machine Robo because Machine Robo always had more unique kind of designs when it came to that kind of stuff. Like if you're someone who's like, oh, I love the Mini, you know, like I love Austin Powers' car, or something. Like you'll always get like weird stuff with that. Let me just find. I know they had something that was kind of station wagony. Where is it? Where is it? I have to go to the American GoBot stuff. You know, Mm, a lot of good stuff here too. Man, so many good Machine Robo stuff. By the way, if you could get this book cheap, Machine Robo Wedge, it just has like everything. Oh yeah, the Ecto one, I guess. Yeah, that's a Hearst. That's a Hearst. I guess you could count the Ecto one. That's true. You'd have to like retool it a bunch and everything, but yeah, you're right on that one. Ecto one's a good example. Where is my American stuff? There we go. Instant Powers crossover. There we go. Here's all the goods. Here's the unique ones. So you got a few interesting designs there, like Vanguard and Tux and all the others. Tux is another good one, but Tux is more of a like a Rolls Royce, if anything. You got a lot of really unique designs there. Very good. Yeah, it was Ninjatron. Actually, I have a question for you. So you got the reprint. Did the reprint come with the DVD by any chance? Because that was a big thing about it too, is that a lot of times when I would suggest for people to buy it, when they would go to buy it, they would say that it didn't come with a DVD. So I'm kind of curious, was the reprint the one that didn't have a DVD, or is it just missing? Like people would just take it out or something because it was removable. So I don't know. So I'm kind of curious, did the reprint have it? And the DVD that came with it, it's nothing special. It was just commercials for all the toys. That's all it was. Like you wanted like high end commercials of like everything. That's kind of what the DVD was for. But fantastic book, Machine Robo Wedge. If you like the Generations guidebook, like there's good old Tux. You know, Look at those beauties. Look at those beauties. Look at all these cool designs, Great book. If you can't own every Machine Robo and original, vintage Tonka GoBot, you can at least own a book that will get you it all done. No DVD with the new printing. There we go. Because I remember a lot of people were buying it, and I was like, and I was asking them, did it come with a DVD? And they're like, oh, there was no DVD. And I was like, did it not come with a DVD because someone took it out, or was it removed completely? Okay. Well, that makes sense. It probably kept it cheaper too. You don't need a DVD in this day and age, and most of this stuff is already on YouTube, so it's not a big deal. But great book. Great book if you guys could get it. Yeah, well, there you go. Mike and Louie said the best. What is a DVD? Is that a smaller Blu-ray? Pretty much. Pretty much. Javier says, I bought it from eBay along with other things. Okay, that's one way to do it too. Yeah, put it on eBay. Someone could buy it. That makes sense. That makes sense. Good stuff. Good stuff. And we are at the 2-hour mark. But once again, thank you once again for everyone who tuned into the podcast. If you want to continue supporting the podcast, we have a beautiful Discord where we all hang out and continue the discussions and talk. Go down there. There's the Patreon link. If you join the Patreon, we have all the bonuses that you get of joining the Patreon. It gets you to join the Discord also. We send you the link for the Discord, gets your name in the end credit, helps support the podcast, gets you a chance to get one of these exclusives for free. If you come to the show, if you're part of the Patreon for 2 months or more, you get a free TFCon exclusive. If you come to the show, we add a whole bunch of benefits for everybody. Whole bunch of benefits. VCD. Ooh, if you're Chinese, my friends who are Chinese had a whole bunch of VCDs back in the day. That's how we used to watch a lot of anime. But anyways, thanks for all the love and support, guys. Thanks again for listening to the podcast and joining us for this evening. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool relics of the past and everything. And celebrating the life of Mr. Ron Friedman. I'm going to go play me some Sonic. Go race against everybody. And we will talk in the near future. Oh, we got one more super chat. Okay, we'll do one more super chat and then we'll call it quits. Bracer M53 with the $5 super chat. Thanks for the info. Funny that I asked about something weird and specific and you went straight to GoBots. Good night, everyone. Well, hey, everything leads back to GoBots. Everything leads back to Spider-Man, GoBots. Mecha Warriors, GoBots. Mega Man, GoBots. It's all GoBots in the end. Even Transformers, it's all GoBots. Go read the GoBots comic book by IDW by Tom Sicoli, and you'll realize that even Transformers are GoBots. Little spoiler there. Take care, everyone. That's your homework for today. Go read Tom Sicoli's GoBots from IDW. It's a little mini-series, very unique art style, very wacky book. Tom Sicoli's GoBots. Go enjoy it. I'm out of here. Take care of yourself, your friends, your families, your loved ones. I will see you next week here on the Transformers Slag podcast. We're going to have a whole bunch of new stuff to talk about, new news, new discussion, new reveals, and new items. Take care of yourself. As always, take care. Oh, thank you again, Rudy Mack. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I'll see you at TFCon Toronto in the future. I'm out of here. And as always, roll out.